Hi everyone, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending in which part of the world you currently are. Welcome to SQL Beats from my side and hope that you are enjoying this fantastic conference so far. Today's session will be quite different from what I'm used to do. I'm usually talking about Power BI or other Microsoft Data Platform products, but now it's a non-tech session. I will mention Power BI as it was an integral part of this journey. However, the main focus will be on the non-technical stuff and setting the stage for the individual and professional growth, nevertheless, of the technology you are working with. I sincerely hope that sharing my experience will be motivation and inspiration for many of you to start your own journey and achieve your goals, whatever they are. Sorry if I sound like a life coach, that's something I would like to avoid, but you will probably find a bunch of life coaching phrases in the next 20 minutes or so, so please forgive me in advance. Okay, this is some basic information about me. My name is Nikola Ilic. I'm originally from Belgrade in Serbia, but I live in beautiful city of Salzburg in Austria for the last almost 6 years. Where I work as an independent consultant and trainer. You can find me on web. I'm regularly blogging at data-mozart.com. I'm also quite active on social media like LinkedIn or Twitter, so feel free to connect if you like. Enough about me. Let's move on to the topic why we are all here today. Okay, so my journey doesn't really start in 2015 like it's shown here, as I'm not that young. It's just the start of this latest phase, which is something that I would like to emphasize today. So in 2015, I was working at a bank in Serbia as a regular bank clerk. My duties were to analyze potential fraudulent transactions and create different reports based on the findings. Things like how many fraudulent transactions we had in a specific month, how many customers were contacted, and gathering a whole range of similar information to present to management. I was good with the numbers, I have to admit that. As you may notice, I was far from a tech person, even though I was working a kind of data analytics job. Don't get me wrong, I knew the basics of SQL and relational databases from my college days, but I was never able to use them in my day-to-day work. And since I really didn't enjoy my job anymore, I've tried to switch to the IT department and start using my technical knowledge acquired during studying. However, I couldn't seal that move, and I was at the crossroad to continue working the job I don't really like, or to leave the current position and try my luck somewhere else. To provide you with a little more context, I was paid very well. There was no pressure, no stress, and stability of this company was really high. And many people in Serbia were dreaming of being in my place, but not me. At the time, I was already 36, so not in my youngest days. And I dodged the bullet and quit my job. Got an offer from the insurance company to work as a SQL and business intelligence developer. My salary was 20% lower than I had in the bank, but I decided to take one step back when it comes to salary to be able to take 2 steps forward in terms of professional development. And this is the number one takeaway from this session. The path to professional success is not necessarily a straight line. Many times there are curves along the way, which will cause you to drive slower, but you should always keep in focus your final destination, the place where you want to be in the end. And in the insurance company, I became a hardcore SQL guy. So I've learned the harder way that SQL from college has very little in common with real life SQL. You know, things like updating table without where clause and stuff like that. I'm not proud of that, but I was learning from my mistakes. And I was stubborn and I was motivated. So I remember, for example, watching Coursera's online courses about data warehousing and dimensional modeling on the bus on my way to the office. Now, the next step in 2016, as I already knew a thing or two about the Microsoft's BI stack, as I got a chance to really get hands-on experience, not just with SQL Server, but also with other components of the ecosystem, like SQL Server integration services, analysis services, and reporting services. And then all of a sudden, I got an email I've never expected. Months and months back, while I was still working in a bank, I've applied for the risk analyst position in one Austrian company. Yeah, I already forgot about that application. And in that email, they informed me that this risk analyst position was already filled, but as I have a solid background in relational databases, they would like to interview me for the position of business intelligence developer. Of course, if I'm interested. God knows how my CV reached their BI department, but I accepted the chance. And after the technical interview, I was invited for the probation day in Salzburg. I remember traveling the whole day by train and reading Expert Cube development with SQL Server analysis services from Marco Alberto and Chris Webb to increase my chances to be better on the site interview. And I got the job offer. So the second takeaway I would say from this session is never ever underestimate a single possibility that comes your way. If you're not sure, if you're hesitant to apply somewhere or to do something, learn something, just do it. It's always better to regret something you have done than something you haven't. You never know which door waits to be opened for you at a certain moment. So my Austrian story started fine. I was deepening my SQL knowledge as I was dealing with very different challenges caused by the huge amounts of data coming from disparate data sources. I watched almost all of Brent Ozar's courses and read Itzik's book on T-SQL, which was mind-blowing for me. And it still is mind-blowing, honestly. Learning about logical query plans, indexing strategies, window functions. Then after a year of hardcore SQL development and mastering SQL Server reporting services, my company introduced Power BI as an additional reporting tool to complement existing SQL Server reporting solutions. For a few months, I would say at least 3-4 months, no one from our team wanted to use Power BI as we were all quite proficient in building SQL Server reporting services solutions. And one day, my colleague from the customer support department asked me to help her. Basically, she was preparing a huge quarterly management report in Excel by gathering data from multiple different sources and then manually setting everything in Excel. Usually, this activity took her approximately 3 to 4 days. I don't know why I opened Power BI and started to explore the possibilities of building that report in Power BI so she could have all the necessary data pre-baked and available in few clicks. And that first version was so basic and plain that I can't believe from this perspective what I have built. But she liked it. She liked it and she was coming over and over again to ask for improvements. And I was constantly adding new functionalities, shaping my Power BI skills along the way. By helping her, I was also helping myself to become a more proficient Power BI developer. In the end, that report was the most frequently used report within the whole company. And there were like 100+ reports in our catalog. The key takeaway from this story is never underestimate the chance to challenge yourself out of your comfort zone. I could have built this report using SQL Server reporting services, but I didn't. And that single event, when I decided to do it in a completely new tool, which I never used before, opened the door for other things that came after. After that, I started to build all the new reports, or let's say almost all, using Power BI. I've also migrated a lot of them from SQL Server reporting services. And that immensely helped me to improve my Power BI skills and become more proficient with the tool. I was still working like 70% in SQL, 30% in Power BI, but that started to change in the next few years with my focus slowly moving from SQL Server to Power BI. As my knowledge and experience about data products were growing, I've decided to start blogging. And there were two main motivations for doing this. First, I tend to forget things after a while. You know, this stuff when you fixed something or found a solution, but after a few months, when you face this exactly the same challenge, you can't remember how you did it. And you Google it, trying to find a solution that worked for you in the previous attempt. So the blog would be a nice reminder to my future self how to solve something. The other motivation was to document my work and have it as a reference for the future. So in the last days, literally last days of 2019, I think it was 29th of December or something like this, I wrote my first blog post. No one knew except my family and closest friends that I was blogging. Then after 3 or 4 months, for the first time, I've shared my blog post via LinkedIn. At that time, I still didn't have Twitter account, for example. And I was blown away by the reactions on LinkedIn. It appeared that many people struggle with similar problems, and my blog posts helped them to solve some of these challenges. And that's the greatest reward. Believe me, when someone writes you in the comment that your solution saved her or him 3 days of struggling, you feel like a superhero, honestly. So I've continued blogging and increasing the audience for my blog posts. And then came summer of 2020. So we were already in the middle of this stupid pandemic. A lot of virtual events were already taking place. And one of them, completely new at the time, was New Stars of Data, run by Ben Weissman and William Durkin. So my friend and fellow countryman Miloš Radivojević, one of the most recognized SQL Server experts in the world, sent me the link and encouraged me to submit a session. Honestly, I've never considered public speaking, never. I thought I'm good at writing, but at speaking, no way. But again, I was thinking about pushing myself out of the comfort zone and doors that wait to be opened and all that stuff. And of course, I submitted a session, and my session was selected. So the greatest thing regarding New Stars of Data concept is that all of us new speakers, basically, we were assigned mentors, seasoned, experienced speakers to assist us in preparing this first session. And I was lucky enough to be paired with Wolfgang Strasser, who was a fantastic mentor and helped me immensely to build that, my first appearance as a public speaker. And I will never forget that first public speaking experience. I was so nervous. A lot of celebrities, I call them, in the audience, people like Matthew Roche or Adam Saxton, people that I have really the utmost respect for and from whom I've learned and still learning so much. And everything went well. And straight after that presentation, I was invited to present at a few more events, from local user groups to another big conferences. And if this awful pandemic brought one single good thing, that was the possibility to present virtually basically all over the planet. So this raised an exposure of not just my exposure, but exposure of many people from the community who all of a sudden now were able to present in the USA, Europe, Australia, and so on, without the need to travel to all those places. From my personal perspective, I was really trying, and I'm still trying today, to say yes to everyone who invites me to present, because I know how much I've learned from others watching their sessions and reading their blogs. So for me, this is the least I can do to give back. But going back to the story about opening doors, regular blogging and public speaking, as I've already mentioned, raised the exposure within the community. People start to get and at the end of 2020, I was nominated for the prestigious MVP award in the data platform category by Nicky van Vroonhoven, fellow MVP from the Netherlands. When Nicky dropped me a message and mentioned that he would like to nominate me for the award, I literally thought I was dreaming, I still owe him a beer, same as to many other wonderful people from our data community. And I hope that I will have an opportunity to meet each and every one of you in person soon. Okay, so after almost 5 months of waiting and after a few more nominations in the meantime, where I have to mention support from Katrin Borchet and Wolfgang Strasser, I've officially became Microsoft Data Platform MVP on May 1st, 2021. Less than 6 years after I took a 20% salary decrease and quit my position in the bank. To be clear, becoming an MVP was never a goal for me per se. In terms, I'm doing this and this in order to become an MVP. No, in my opinion, the award comes as a logical consequence of someone's dedication and effort in sharing knowledge, sharing passion, and try to help others in using a certain tool or technology. Don't get me wrong, again, I feel truly honored and proud to be among around 400 data professionals around the world that are part of the Data Platform MVP group. And I honestly believe that getting this award was the highlight of my professional career so far. But my point is nothing has changed. I still enjoy blogging. I still enjoy presenting and sharing what I've learned. I still enjoy learning from others, watching GuineCube videos, reading Marcos and Alberto's or Chris Webb's or Phil Seamark's blogs, to name just a few. Of course, there are many more resources to improve your technical and not just technical skills. To conclude, as you may have seen from my journey, each step that I've taken opened the door for the next thing to come. And now I'm really curious to find out which door is the next for me to be opened. And if I may single out one key point that you should take away from this session, that would be, don't be afraid to make the moves, as you never know which door is there waiting to be opened specifically for you. That's it. Thanks for joining and enjoy the rest of SQL Bits conference. See you.